Our recent investigations on California's high-speed rail project show that it's facing critical delays. But investigative producer Heidi Kuda says the project is also facing stiff opposition from folks who may wind up with train tracks across their property.
I'm fighting them to keep them off my property.
They have sneaked out here because I've known they've put white crosses on our roads and over here on another spot. And I've learned that those are aerial marks for a plane.
A father and a son, farmers in the Central Valley, fighting to keep the high-speed rail authority off their land.
Because we don't want this high-speed rail to go through our property. They cannot come out here until this land is deemed eminent domain.
Eminent domain could allow high-speed rail to seize their land if it's for the greater good, and these court papers spell out when that could happen. The rail authority's own property rights manager says in this affidavit that she does not expect right-of-way acquisitions to be completed until the end of 2013 or early 2014. But that depends on Madera County farmers letting rail on their land just to do appraisals, and it's not looking good.
But just come on my property, to tell me you're going to survey or sniff around or something, you might as well just sit out there in your car on the road all day because you're not coming on.
We will ultimately defend our property because that's what we need to do.
This could be a huge problem for the future of high-speed rail. Delays on top of delays mean the project is in danger of losing its federal funding, and California cannot handle the multi-billion-dollar tab on its own. But Rail Authority CEO Jeff Morales tells us he does not think farmers will stand in the way.
Contrary to what you've said, we've not had anyone who hasn't allowed our people on site to do the surveying that's necessary to be done. So I'm not sure what you're referencing there.
But Central Valley landowner Ross Browning says Morales needs a reality check.
If Morales says that there's nobody down there opposing it, I don't know what he's dipping into, but it's some powerful stuff because it's not true.
Anya Radaba, the head of the Madera County Farm Bureau.
He must have blinders on, or his staff is simply not giving him the full detail of what's happening on the ground.
Wendell Cox is one of the nation's leading experts on high-speed rail. He says any delays with eminent domain could put the project in serious jeopardy.
You can't go forward with building until you have the land. So there are these delays, which would basically make the project impossible to complete.
Richard Tolmack, president of the California Rail Foundation, says the current high-speed rail plan seems to be unraveling.
A bit of a slapstick act so far. The whole thing is half-baked. I mean, it's very clear that they weren't ready when they, put this package out. It was not ready to send out.
But Morales insists the rail authority has a process in place to get this done.
But the process also lays out a way to get to conclusion for both parties, a fair conclusion, and that's the process we'll follow. So it's not an indefinite sort of a challenge there.
Farmer Alan Scott says Morales is flat wrong.
I mean, we're not Superman, we're not anybody but just average people, and average people will win over the long run.
So clearly you've got two completely different views on this. The bottom line, delays caused by eminent domain could take anywhere from 6 to 18 months, depending on how hard these farmers fight. About a half dozen states have recently narrowed the power of government to take private property for public use, but in California, the law is on the rail authority's side. That means little to the farmers who are simply trying to delay this project in the hopes that it'll go away. Heidi Kuda, Fox 11 News.
Our investigative producer Heidi Kuda will continue to stay on top of the high-speed rail debate and bring you all the latest developments. You can, of course, see her other projects and reports on this controversy on our website, myfoxla.com.